It's one of the largest gold discoveries in the past 30 years. Tudor Gold's Eskay Creek property is located in northwestern BC in the storied Golden Triangle. Tudor Gold is ticker TUD on the Venture Exchange. I'm with CEO Ken Konkin. Ken, welcome to Kitco.
Thank you very much for having me. We're very happy to share our story with you guys for sure.
Describe the scale of what you're working on, Ken.
Well, that's a long story, but I'll do it as brief as possible. At Eskay Creek, we've got a multiple set of basically intrusive related or bulk tonnage porphyry style targets, as well as VMS targets. So we've been drilling hard for the last 2 years, and most of our advanced stage drilling is based on at Goldstorm specifically, which is the beast in the property at this moment. So about a year ago, this time last year, we rolled out a preliminary resource, a initial resource. Some people call it maiden resource. I hate that name, but we'll go with it. After only 2 years of drilling of 2019, 2020, we came up with an initial resource of 19.4 million ounces of gold equivalent. Now, keep in mind, this is actually a gold dominant system. There are significant copper mineralization in one of the domains of the four. But of the 19.4 million ounces of M&I drill measured and indicated, we've also got 0.74 grams gold is what that accounts to. And that's a global resource. Keep in mind, we've got domains within domains of this basic gold inventory. Part of that is a 7.9 million ounce gold inferred on the outside of that. So that was a large portion of our task this year to try and convert that into M&I. So what a task. Lace up your boots and say you're going to go after almost 8 million ounces to pop into an M&I category. And easier said than done, because we never got to the limit. The Goldstorm deposit remains open in all directions and at depth. It just keeps on going. Hopefully we'll get to an end possibly this year. We're going to increase the capacity of drilling from where we were at last year. Hopefully we'll also, at the same time, simultaneously bring along our other projects or other targets at the same kind of simultaneous drilling, if you will. Last year, we pulled drills off of other targets just to attack Goldstorm, because the mineralization where we thought was waning definitely didn't weaken, it got stronger. So in 2020, every press release beat the previous press release. Likewise this year. So great news all around.
You're getting a lot of affirmation from the general mining sector. The headline that came out of 2021 was the M&A that was happening in Canada. A lot of that action in the Golden Triangle and a lot of that action near Tudor.
Absolutely. As far as real estate, I don't think you can park a project near a hotter spot for transactions, deals. Seabridge executed a purchase of the Snowfields deposit, which I was part of drilling off in 2006 to 2010. I subsequently went after Valley of the Kings, named it, found it in 2009 actually. Didn't really go after it hard until 2010, because we honestly almost didn't believe it existed ourselves. It was as a dream project I was very, very fortunate to be part of. So when people at Pretium actually went forward and drilled results similar to what they had at Valley of Kings to the north of the Hanging Glacier, clearly suitors that had seen the project, I think that would have triggered them. So I think Newcrest jumped in on some of that news and subsequently made a deal with Pretium for the purchase of that. So they are our southern neighbors. KSM is our basically western neighbors. So you could not get tighter with a good group of explorationists and now miners. So yeah, we're pretty lucky.
Never mind that you also have the world's largest miner that is involved up, I believe, to the north of the property. And then you also have the operating mine, Red Chris, as well.
Yeah, of course. Newmont's been there, and they're one of the biggest companies. And when they actually pulled the trigger on GT, we were surprised because we put out our resource on the same day, and they kind of stole a bit of our thunder, I think. But when you compare the numbers, everybody should have a good sit down and have a good look at the value or the results that GT has compared to what we've come out with and what we continue to come out with. So this is probably chapter 3, I think, of a long book of exploration. I think chapter 1 and 2 were pretty exciting, guessing where the deposit was, now going after it. But we're a long ways away from, I think, talking about big companies coming and swallowing us up, because I think I'd rather do what we do best, go ahead and take down what I consider low-hanging fruit. We're not chasing targets. We actually have them. They're in our crosshairs. We are batting basically almost 1,000. Every drill hole had what I consider to be under the classification of the Brucejack, or rather of the under the classification of the modeling that we've done for a deposit at Goldstorm, would have made a contribution to the resource. So we only had one hole that had no economic value, and I think we believe that went down a dike or a sill. So out of 120 drill holes, that's pretty impressive when you actually predict other targets to be there on spatial distribution based on structural interpretation and the geology, and you hit it. Perfect Storm was a great example in 2020. 2021, we confirmed Eureka. We put that in the box, and we also did the same with the calm before the storm on the frequency. So great success.
Talk about the leadership team at Tudor.
Great question. We've been blessed by having our chairman of the board, Walter Storm. His latest big win was the Osisko Lake deposit. He was a founder of that, brought that to basically came to production, and Agnico took it out. So he's has been our leader. He had the foresight to take down Treaty Creek. Myself, I came from a long lineage from Silver Standard, working under Bob Quartermain, Ken McNaughton, and Joe Ofsenik, as well was running the programs at Snowfields, at Brucejack Lake, was part of that entire discovery, which I think was a very big highlight of my career. I was involved with Treaty Creek, dating myself here, back in 1987. I discovered some of the showings, the highest grade showings of the year, while working for Dino Kremnis, one of the joint venture partners. So it's like coming home for me. Very rewarding to come back and see a wonderful project that we can all sink our teeth into. We brought also Natalie Seninger for our VP of Resource Development to our board of directors as well, and she was with me at Snowfields and Pretium. So the kind of geological talent that we had and success that we had to those deposits, and bringing our personnel and our technical team up to speed to what we need to see. Because when you look at the project and you look at the vast nature of the targets, it's absolutely overwhelming. But now I think we've actually built a beautiful team of great, sharp geoscientists that are motivated, sharp, to help steer the ship on this monster. I mean, honestly, we're going to need all hands on deck to go after 4 targets at once. And they're all big targets, they're not small.
There's a lot of activity up there. How is the infrastructure, Ken?
Well, that's the one absolute blessing that we've got, because you're in an old mining district. So with that, it's what I consider a plug and play district. You don't have to build a seaport concentrator building or facilities. You don't have to build or bring in power lines. They're there. Well, the power line, Northwest transmission lines within 25 kilometers. Seabridge, as I speak, is currently building their access road to come across the exact same road that we need to our lower camp, exact same location. So we'd like to see if we can participate and work with Seabridge in the future, is one of the concepts that we have moving forward in dialogue with, data exchange, that sort of thing. The airstrips in the area north is Bob Quinn, to the south is Stewart. It's a 2-hour drive. It probably will be about a 2-hour drive from the project to Stewart once that road is in. At present, it's about an hour and a half for our staging. So give 25 kilometers at 25 kilometers an hour, say. So 2.5 hours, say. So we're blessed with having, like I say, all that infrastructure already there. We don't have to put it in.
I believe that mining in Stewart is about 100 years old with the premier mine that has been there. So there's a lot of understanding about mining in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the big one that took fame was clearly Eskay Creek, and it absolutely put the region on the map, and hence the Golden Triangle. But you're right. Look at the resurrection of Silverback Premier with Ascot. Look at the resurrection of Eskay with Skeena. Not just that, but going forward, Red Chris, what's happened with Newcrest coming on, taking over from Imperial. The great discovery at Bruce Jack Lake, the KSM success story from 2002, 18-year odyssey to build out something like 78 million ounces, the world's largest undeveloped resource. In a way, it was almost because it was landlocked or glacial locked. They couldn't seem to get to an access. Now they have that. They're on the verge of moving it forward. And we're lucky we're on that same trend. We share the same structural and metallogenic trend that thing is on. And our deposits are extremely similar in many ways.
Talk about the share structure and some of your significant shareholders, Ken.
Great. Yeah, as mentioned, our chief and commander, Walter Storm, holds 30% of the company. Great. And I had a kind of a random call from a gentleman named Eric Sprott asking me if a certain drill hole, CB 1839, was real. And I told him absolutely. And I told him the plan that I was going to embark on going after a much bigger beast. He was very intrigued. So since that phone call, he's been our new best friend. So he's into it for about just under 20%, so around 17.8 or something like that. But he's been a huge supporter and a great guy to know. He's a wonderful person, and we absolutely welcome his input and advice too going forward.
Lastly, Ken, what are some stock catalysts over the next 12 months?
That's a great question. Everybody says, now what? Well, the now what is finish off what we started and drill, and drill. It's where we get marked on. That's what we get our success on. So what if I turned around and pulled a hole like in our corporate presentation, and one of the holes would be 113W2 that we drilled this year. If we actually pull that off at, say, perfect storm, I think that would we double the stock instantaneously. I think our growth, or our potential for growth, our geological target used to be 10, 15 million ounces. Well, we've eclipsed that on a partial resource. I think going forward on a complete resource, arguably, it may be the world's largest, which my number for gold only is 27. So I'm close. I'm just on the cusp of that. If I get it, it'll be the largest in the world. On a single discovery will be Goldstorm in 30 years. So that's the push to do that, to get out a new updated resource, or at least try and get to the end of the system to where we can confine or constrain the pit. Once we do that, then going forward, we'll bring on the preliminary economic assessment, and simultaneously I'll be developing the Eureka, the Calm Before the Storm, and Perfect Storm. And Perfect Storm, just so you know, is exact equidistant between Goldstorm and Iron Cap, one of the two largest beasts on that chain. So I have a lot of high hopes. And the one thing that I leak out now and then is the shock and awe we had at Bruce Jack, seeing that coarse electrum basically right from the contact of that Bruce Jack Lake fault to the immediate east. The only place that we see coarse gold like that is actually at Treaty, at the southwest zone, and a little thing known as Konkin Gold, what I discovered in 1987. These things may be tentacles for what's underlying, holding that mountain up. So I think all that drilling we did with Perfect Storm was just off the mark to the south. I think we launched 200 meters in. I think we're going to bite into some pretty decent meat on that one. So I'm really looking forward to getting going. It's going to be a fast and furious summer. We plan to ramp up, try and double what we did last year for drilling. Instead of 30,000, we're going to increase the amount of drills, go with hopefully no less than 8 drills, and possibly 10. We don't know. But we need to hit that mark at 60,000 meters. And we're going to get to the ends of that deposit. It's still open. And the grades are better than we had in the earlier portion of that deposit. So not only is the mineralization getting stronger, it's getting deeper and thicker because of that plunge of that lower contact, that lower treaty thrust fault. The upper thrust fault's well defined. So in that prism of a block of enormous rock, we're well past 1 billion tons now. So the comparisons are maybe we have to look at something the size of Grasberg as a comparative analysis of what we're doing. And if we get a road to it, albeit we need it to cut back a bit on helicopter time, but we're starting up. We left off last year with a winter haul from Pretium, and I thank our friends at Pretium to allow us to use their winter road and ice road. And from there, we launch with our snowcats, and we have a set of heavy equipment, D7s, big 300 excavators that will start with our drilling early in the season, and possibly look at helping out Seabridge with their task of cutting an access road. That's our goal, is going forward. So lots going on, lots to talk about. Absolutely.
Ken, thanks for sharing your story with Kitco.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime. I'd love to do an update with you in about 6 months from now.
He's Ken Konkin, CEO of Tudor Gold. My name is Mike McRae, and you're watching Kitco Mining.